What's up, guys? It is Wednesday, April 23rd. You're joining us live, and check this out. Welcome, everybody, to Points of the Crown. It's a Wednesday night. We got James sketching the beast here. James, how you doing?
I'm fantastic. How are you, my friend?
I'm pretty good. I'm pretty sure I have all the buttons clicked now. I do believe we are streaming not only on YouTube, not only on Facebook, I believe we're also on Instagram now, whether they like it or not.
Oh,
can you believe it?
Now we're feeling dirty.
I have no way of verifying if it's actually working, just because of the way I've got everything set up. So if you guys are watching on one of the other platforms other than YouTube, if you could give me a hey in the chat or a like or something. But we already got Dave hanging out. What's up, Dave?
What's up, Dave?
It's going good, in a word. I've run into this issue, James. I don't know if you get this or not, but as I have been back home, I haven't had to travel for 3 weeks.
Nice.
This being the third weekend in a row, coming up here. I've been spending a lot of time in the studio, and the eye strain became a real thing. I got such a bad migraine the other night.
Ooh,
like debilitating. I've been wearing the blue light blockers to help.
Oh, nice.
But when I wear them, it like turns my eyes into these like blue rectangles. Makes me feel more like a super nerd than I already am.
Nice. Hey, look good on you.
Oh, thank you. But what's good with you, man? How's your week been treating you?
Pretty good, man. It's a beautiful day over here in Akron, New York, and I had to work all day, which was fantastic. But the kids got some fresh air, so that's always a plus.
Yeah.
Getting things ready for the next show, Saratoga.
Thanks for that, Dave. Appreciate the heads up on that. Saratoga.
Yeah, Saratoga Comic-Con. We are that's like my best show of the year. I'm sure there are better shows out there, but it is my best show.
Yeah.
And so we are opting to get a hitch installed on my car. So I had to travel like 50 minutes to go all the way out to like, I don't know, Niagara Falls or whatever, to go pick up the parts that I need for them to install it later in the week. Cause I don't know, they apparently don't talk to each other at U-Haul. I don't know. Anyways, so that was a fun hour and a half, 2 hours out of my day. But yeah, no, I'm excited because that means with the hitch, me and my wife, we can bring more things to shows, which means we can sell more things at shows.
Absolutely.
And it means that we can have better setups, all that stuff. So we're excited. We're looking forward to it.
I like it.
Yeah.
I had considered getting a hitch for the van and getting myself a little camper to pull around.
Yeah, dude.
Save on that hotel expense.
There you go.
I
mean, you still got to get I thought about that too. You still got to get a place to hang out at, right? But it's nowhere near as expensive as a hotel would be.
I don't know. It's I don't mind staying in cheaper hotels.
Yeah.
I have a certain threshold that I will not go below. That's where the bed bugs and the roaches are. But when it comes to like the camper, there's going to be hidden expenses.
Yeah.
But then like, where are you going to park the thing for load in? Like trying to navigate a vehicle, like a car through there sometimes is one thing, but now you got a camper, like you're going to drop your camper off first.
Yeah.
It's a whole thing.
Oh yeah. So. I'm not excited to deal with the hitch and like backing that into things and whatever else not, because God only knows that's going to be interesting. I've never done that before. So We'll see.
Be forgiving on yourself, because if you're pulling a shorter trailer, from my experience, shorter trailers are way more squirrely.
Oh, okay. Fun.
Like super reactive. So like if you're cutting the wheel to like try to get it in a certain way,
yeah,
you have to like cut a fraction of the way you would with a bigger trailer.
Oh, yikes. Okay.
Yeah. So you're actually better off getting like a behemoth like horse hauler, you know?
Yeah.
Starting with that, and then maybe you can like do some side services with that.
Yeah.
Little freelancing on the side. But yeah, that's the best advice. Get that open parking lot.
Yeah.
You know, get some cones or the kids to stand in the parking lot, because you don't want to hit the kids. You know.
Oh yeah, let's practice with live people. That's perfect.
Yeah, you get some live feedback. They'll scream at you if you're getting too close.
Oh
you know?
yeah.
Yeah. So that's man, I haven't had to do a trailer in a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was one of those things. It was a pretty routine for my stepmom, for like around her birthday. We would go and get some mulch and stuff for the yard. We do like mulch and get some flowers and stuff, kind of spruce up the house a bit.
Yeah.
And that trailer was squirrely to begin with. A little rusty. Brake lights may not have worked, but we always justified like going about, I don't know, half mile down the road to get mulch. It'd probably be fine. Until one day the trailer completely disconnected while I was driving.
Oh, yikes.
Yeah, so that's the only one you really got to make sure you got that thing locked in good. Now, granted, this trailer, I'm telling you, super sketchy. So hopefully the U-Haul one is, kept up on.
Yeah. 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 Hopefully. We'll see. We'll see.
If not, that's what the safety chains are for, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's probably fun. That's probably fun. James, I made a discovery today that we have not talked about, and this is a bit of an update for the channel. I think we're going to lead off with this tonight, because this is news. This is big news, and not enough people are talking about this. I should probably stop. Talking about this. Let me see here. But we have a passenger pigeon sighting. This is
no way.
Remarkable.
No way.
They've been extinct for over 100 years, as we've discussed previously, from a population estimated 6 to 8 billion, which is quite a bit. I'm not sure how good we were counting back in like the very early 1900s.
Yeah.
So the math might have been a little off, but we have a rogue passenger pigeon walking around. I'm not sure where this is, but check this out.
Let's see.
Look at that thing.
He's little. Little guy.
Little guy. And the music really sets the tone for everything. There it goes. Just like that.
Huh.
Off into the wild. What do you think about that?
I don't know. What are the distinct features of I'm not a bird expert, so what are the distinct features that we're looking for here with this passenger pigeon?
Well, it's interesting you bring that up as we're zooming in. This is better footage than we get of like most Yeti sightings, most Sasquatch sightings, right? This is pretty pretty clear, even though still a little low res. They notoriously were like, I think, a darker blue in the body.
Okay.
And like a red sort of neck, sort of torso area.
Okay.
Let's move a couple more frames here to see what we get. You get a little zoom in there. I'm not sure that this fits any of those descriptions.
Yeah, I don't think so. I think this is just a regular old pigeon.
I think this might just be a pigeon.
Yeah.
Perhaps a mourning dove.
Yeah. I would go with mourning dove. Yeah. Although mourning doves have a little bit of a puffier chest, right? That might just be like a sex thing. I don't know, like whether it's male or female. I'm not sure, but
that gotcha. I thought maybe it meant something else.
Oh no. No. Sorry, I should have said gender thing or whatever. But
yeah. So interesting is that this video has tens of thousands of views.
Oh, really?
It does.
That's crazy.
It's maybe 10 seconds. We'll go and let it play on loop here, because this truly is remarkable. And for those of you just joining us on Facebook and that sort of thing, feel free to hit that like button, all that good stuff. Share it if you would. We're covering top tier content tonight.
Yeah.
There it goes, just like that. People in the chat here, in the comments on this video are saying that, sorry, not a passenger pigeon, it's a mourning dove. Mourning dove doesn't negate the fact tens of thousands of views.
Yeah, there's enough people interested in the fact that it's a passenger pigeon that it's got some interest there.
We are trying too hard. We can film apparently almost anything. Slap a comment on it saying, found the dodo bird, found the passenger pigeon, found the chupacabra, whatever you want to put on there.
Yeah.
And you'll get enough people commenting saying, that's not what that is. That
Yeah.
drives engagement. It does. And guess what?
It does.
That's the money.
It is.
That's big money.
Mm-hmm.
So that is I'm sad to report, not a passenger pigeon. From what I can see. I'm not an expert.
Yeah, it's too small. Too small. What up, Mike?
So Mike. Yep, it's unfortunately my ornithological knowledge says not a passenger pigeon. And that's really the only bird I've studied at this point.
I was going to say you're close to an expert at this point, so I believe your opinion.
One, yeah, I might be able to pick it out of a lineup. But it's interesting though, because they're talking about bringing back all these animals, right? Last week, was it last week we talked about the dire wolf?
It was only last week or the week before, but yeah.
Yeah. So there's more buzz about this now. It's like, should we bring back passenger pigeons? That video is starting to pop up more and more. Have you considered what that would do?
Yeah, I don't know. I'm afraid with the dire wolves we're gonna end up with like supersized ticks or something. I mean, you got a bigger dog, you can have bigger ticks.
And who knows? They're sucking their blood, and what kind of DNA recombinant stuff? Yeah, you can tell the depth of my science is very like Ninja Turtles level.
Yeah. It's almost one of those questions is really what made them extinct in the first place, right?
Well, I doubt the passenger pigeons took out the dire wolves. But if the dire wolves get out of hand, maybe we do need the passenger pigeons.
I mean, maybe the dire wolves helped with the passenger pigeons, and they just went extinct because they ate too many of them.
It could be.
They got fat and they didn't want to move anymore. Who knows?
So you want to do a quick little trivia here? Let's play some trivia with the crowd. Oh, we got all kinds of people jumping in. We got Dawson. What's up, brother?
What's going on?
Jeff Coleman was right. We spent too much time asking if we could, rather if we should.
Yeah, should we? Yeah.
I say
that all the time in my heart.
Yes. Can I or should I?
Yeah, exactly.
That's when I hammer down a shot of Jack and just jump right in.
Yeah, exactly. Yep.
So let's do a little trivia question here, and we're going to play with the chat here a little bit. Obviously, James, I'd love for you to pontificate with me. Have you considered the estimation of how many pigeons are currently living in New York?
How many pigeons are living in New York?
Pigeons. Because surely the passenger pigeon, being as numerous as it was, 6 to 8 billion, the only place you see pigeons really are major cities, right?
Yeah.
How many pigeons do you think you got roaming around that they're estimating in New York?
In New York alone, I would say probably close to 500,000, maybe.
500,000 rolling around?
500,000? Michael says 37.
At least. I would say it's north of 37. Absolutely.
Yeah, probably much further north.
Oh no, and DJ, I wish I could join you guys tonight. I feel like every week there's something that comes. We'll get you on here at some point, man. Yeah, and when you do, if you got any projects you're working on that you want to pump, let's talk about them. But feel free to share it in the chat too. Artist friends in the chat, if you have things that you're working on, feel free to share it. I'm gonna I'll let y'all know the best estimate that we've got right now for New York is 8 million pigeons.
Whoa! All right.
8 million. Okay.
Oof.
And it already
Yeah, I was
seems
gonna
like
say, like,
quite a few.
Yeah. That's a lot.
As opposed to 6 to 8 billion
Yeah.
that was roaming around the greater North American landscape, right?
Yeah.
So 37 was our best guess that we had. You technically win. Because you weren't wrong. There's at least 37 pigeons in there. Now, there's another video. Oops. So this is the pigeon lady in New York.
Oh my goodness. That's a lot of pigeons. She's a
It's
character. It's just like Home Alone. Remember the pigeon lady in Home Alone?
yeah. I don't know which came first, the pigeon lady or the pigeon lady.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe that was her inspiration.
It could have been.
I love the Home Alone movie so much I became a pigeon lady.
This is so. I did watch part of this video earlier. I haven't watched it to its completion because my attention span is like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'd rather see the rest later, you know?
Yeah.
Other stuff to do. I've heard that like for a tiny 1-bedroom like studio apartment, like a a little flat, is insane in New York. And just keep that in mind as you're watching this lady go about her business here. I can't imagine how much this woman must be paying to live in this little apartment.
Oh yeah. Probably a lot. Dude, are there pigeons on her window roof? Oh my goodness.
She has rooftop access.
They're waiting. They're like, yeah. Give me some food. Wow.
Hundreds of pounds a week.
That's
Look
insane.
at these things. I was actually trying to watch earlier on this close up. Like, are any of these blue with a little bit of red? I mean, it's not that big of a jump. I mean, maybe.
Yeah.
Maybe. They just changed some colors and moved to New York. You know?
They're like their cousins.
Yeah. You know, they moved in. You know, they rely on this lady to feed them.
Wow.
This is incredible, really.
That's funny. Michael asked which was first, the pigeon or the lady?
I love it. This is a thriving business making these pigeon sculptures, which I think is fantastic.
Oh wow.
So already I start to think in business sense.
Yeah.
If she can have a thriving business off of 8 million birds, what kind of thriving business could we have off of 8 billion birds?
Yeah.
How many more pigeon ladies could we have if these things flying over Milwaukee, flying over Minneapolis? I think it's quite impressive, really. I'm just gonna skip to this one part, and then we're gonna call it for the pigeon lady video. This is truly impressive.
It's impressive. There's a video about it. The Wizard of Odd. That's funny. It's something. It's. We supposed to be having sound. I don't hear anything.
Oh, is there no sound?
No, I don't hear anything.
Oh no!
Just as you get
there, we go. Okay.
Every day.
I'm like, so let's play it.
So they'll wait at different street corners, and they'll come down, and they follow me down the street. So I always have to have a big bag of seed. So,
Oh wow!
I don't know if this woman is in trouble and she has to pay off the birds, or if this is sort of
bird
a
mafia.
Yeah, they're like, pay them. You want to cross the street? You know,
you're gonna pay me so you can cross the street. Yeah.
It's the next Scorsese film. What was that? Animaniacs pigeons, the good feathers.
Oh yes, dude! Oh my god! I remember that. That's hilarious.
I also feel like this has to have been exploited as a story at some point by like Marvel or DC as a character concept. Right?
Yeah, well, maybe that's where they got the idea for Squirrel Girl, right? It's the same thing, just squirrels, right? She's feeding squirrels, and then she gets the superpowers from squirrels.
I'm gonna let you in on a secret. I don't know much Squirrel Girl lore.
Me either. I don't know a thing about her. I know that she's like stupidly overpowered for what she is, but that's about it.
Interesting. Well, and she's popping off too because Marvel Rivals.
Yeah,
like she had a pretty successful comic book run, and then Marvel Rivals kicks off. So it's big things for Squirrel Girl. I think there's room for a what'd you call it, like Miss Pigeon?
Yeah, there you go. DC,
make her a villain. Call her Mistress Pigeon or the pigeon.
Miss Pidge.
Ooh, the pigeon minions.
Oh, there you go.
I think there's something there. You want your ankles not bleeding? Give me the feed.
That's funny.
It's interesting. It really is interesting. And but here's what I think though. Like if this lady, let's say she wants to spearhead the passenger pigeon movement, bring them back, and she goes with a 100-pound bag feed to go try to appease 8 billion birds.
Not gonna happen.
I should be ripped apart, man.
Yeah.
Once those pigeons get a taste for blood, that's not just gonna be the ankles.
They'll be pecking her eyeballs out.
Yeah. I think it's the last thing we need is 8 billion birds.
Yeah, dude, that's insane.
Feasting on us. I mean,
we're gonna bring them back, and we're gonna accidentally splice them with a T-Rex, and it's gonna be these little hands.
Wouldn't that be something if T-Rex evolved into the passenger? They claim that the dinos turned into birds somehow.
Yeah, they're saying that the chicken is a distant related cousin of a T-Rex. So yeah, that's interesting.
It is hard to believe that something bigger than a school bus was like, you know what? Small, compact.
Yeah. Something that's 5 stories tall turns it into something that's below your ankles. Yeah.
But then again, I don't know science. We've already covered this. Very loose understanding of any of it.
Yeah, same. Pretty much.
Perhaps the T-Rex was actually like 8 million pigeons in a dinosaur suit. That was just how they
yeah, maybe.
I don't know where I'm going with this bit. I'm just happy that you're all joining us here tonight. We're having a little bit of fun. We got a DJ chimed in with sounds good, man. Main thing I'm working on at the moment is a pitch to Nickelodeon for a series of comics. Characters like Danny Phantom, Crimson Chin.
I follow him on Facebook. You've been doing all the throwback Nickelodeon tune prints. Very, very good idea. Very good idea. People are loving the nostalgia. Awesome. That's awesome.
Oh, yeah. I might need to pick your brain here, Dawson, because I've been working on something too that is purely being designed to sell. Like, don't get me wrong, it is a passion project. We're moving stuff along. Actually made some pretty big leaps on it this week as far as progress moving forward. But I'm gonna have to pick your brain about how you're pitching and how you're doing all that stuff, because I want to sell this bitch. I shouldn't be cussing this early in the show. Welcome to the show, everybody. Let us know how you're doing in the chat.
20 minutes in.
Mike chimes in. Yeah, I drew a kaiju squirrel squaring off against Galactus once. True story. That's nuts.
Interesting. I want to see that.
Very interesting.
I want to see that in the Discord later.
Kaiju squirrel. I feel like there is a resurrection of the kaiju lately. Like,
yeah,
it's always been a thing.
Yeah.
I feel like ever since Godzilla, was it Godzilla -1? Like,
is that the newest one? I haven't really kept too up on Godzilla, but yeah, Godzilla has this like weird comeback. I even been asked to do a Godzilla once, or if I had a Godzilla print. I'm like, yeah, no Godzilla yet. Sorry.
Yeah, I had a Godzilla print for a while, and I could not sell that thing for the life of me, except for like every now and then you get the one Godzilla fan.
Yeah.
And now it's like, I need to bring it out of retirement.
Yeah, bring it out of retirement.
Yeah.
Or draw a new one.
Yep. Brother
Yep.
T's hanging out. Got to move the Wednesday live to the roof. I might actually end up doing that. Depending on how the weather is. So I do have like a little rooftop deck up there.
Oh, do you?
It's just a matter of like I have a mic and a camera set up, and to get that up on the roof, I would have to completely change a lot of what I'm doing. I would like to do it so I can smoke a cigar while we're hanging out.
There you go.
But I'll probably be too busy fidgeting with everything else to smoke it, and then it would go out. It'd be a problem. Get ashes in the keyboard.
Yeah. Could be bad. Could be bad.
Oh boy, we really need a Cobra Kaiju sighting soon.
Kaiju.
You know, there's probably a mashup print in there somewhere of turning like different fandoms into kaijus and having them like square off.
That'd be funny.
Yeah. So.
You know what? Actually, so someone's done something similar to that. I follow on Instagram. I can't think of the guy's name off the top of my head. Super phenomenal artist, though. He does it in very traditional like calligraphy style pen ink. And like he took the, are you familiar with Attack on Titan?
A little bit.
So he took the Titan concept and just started applying it to anime characters, like all sorts of anime characters, not just Titan stuff. So he'd like turn Titan, like he'd turn like Luffy from One Piece into a Titan, or like a bunch of random characters,
like completely skinless.
Yeah, and like what they would look like. Yeah, what they would look like with their like powers and stuff. And it was actually really cool to watch. And again, phenomenal art. Like he was like, I guarantee that dude's rolling in money with how phenomenal his art is and the mashups on that because they were super cool. I'm like, I was almost wanting to buy one. I'm like, that's sweet, dude.
I find the Attack on Titan aesthetic mildly disturbing.
It is.
It's for those of you not totally. When you say Woodstock Titan, are you talking about Woodstock from Snoopy?
That'll be hilarious.
The first thing I thought when you're bringing that up with crossover was like Sonic, because there's so many Sonic fans out there.
Yeah.
100-foot tall Sonic with no skin.
Oh my god.
Whoa.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. That's so my brother-in-law, he was bringing up one day, he's like, I don't know how some of these guys get into some of these animes because they're they've got all these girls with like these giant, who's flying around and all this. And I'm like, do you watch any anime? He's like, yeah, Attack on Titan. I'm like, isn't that the one with like 100-foot tall naked dudes? He's like, well, he's like, yeah, but that's different. I'm like, okay.
Kind of got you there.
Got a little got you. So that's been my go-to ever since, is anytime someone has anything to say about artwork, I'm like, do you watch Attack on Titan? Yeah, you love it?
That's
what
funny.
Specifically about the 100-foot tall naked skinless dudes? Yeah. But if you're still in the chat hanging out, I'm gonna put a word of encouragement out to you. This is one of my brothers. He I won't say where, but there is a throwback reunion thing at a local establishment that he used to bartend at. And he keeps saying, and I don't know if I'm going to get behind the bar. I don't know if I'm going to... T, I feel like it just needs to happen, buddy. I feel like you need to get behind that bar. I think magic will happen. I think out of nowhere, the right song's going to play. Much like Hulk Hogan trying to get back up after like the test of strength, and you're shaking your hand and the crowd's going crazy. I think all the stars are aligned and it's going to work out, brother. I think you need to do it.
There you go.
If you feel it in your gut, shaking his head, I think you need to do it, buddy. I wasn't sure if I was going to talk to you between here and there, and I'm too lazy to text. So there's your words of encouragement. Part of the reason we got on the pitching thing today was I went down a weird rabbit hole. If you already thought I was into some weird stuff, friends, someone told me about the
Alice.
Well, that happens to be one of my better selling things that I have.
Guess that makes sense. It is you.
Someone caught me on to this trend. Speaking of trying too hard, I think we need to change gears as to what we're doing here. Have you? Obviously, we've heard about the AI video trend. People
Mhm.
using those for shorts and everything else.
Mhm.
Have you heard about the algorithmically driven AI shorts trend?
Maybe.
I'll share an example here. So
Yeah.
apparently, someone made a video a long time ago. There's a funny clip that someone made of Spider-Man, the third movie or second movie, where is Spider-Man's kind of giving up being Spider-Man,
Yeah.
and they clip together a shot of like these. It's really awful. These two kids getting hit by a truck, and then he just takes a bite out of a hot dog and turns away like it's not his problem.
Oh my goodness.
So one of the trends is Spider-Man and hot dogs. So
Okay.
there's this group of people. I'm going to turn down the volume here because I'm sure it's overblown.
Yeah.
They're just looking for these hits, for these different trends. And oh my God, I think I am in love with AI. I think
Oh my
everybody
goodness.
needs to embrace it. I might be speaking facetiously there,
Okay.
but
What is even happening right now?
it's kind of nightmare fuel.
Yeah, these are awful.
We got Spider-Man making hot dogs.
How?
We got some workers watching. Tens of thousands of views.
Oh, really? Where?
On YouTube Shorts.
Oh, okay. I don't see it.
This one has like 15,000 views or something like that. It's literally just a picture of a hot dog turning into a Spider-Man hot dog.
Weird. You know what? I will admit that I have clicked on some of these stupid videos, but only because I'm like, what am I looking at? And then I click on it, and then of course it's this ridiculous AI video. I'm like, all right, that was awful to watch.
Some of the storylines they come up with, man. Check this out. This is like, we're talking cross-platform, cross-universe.
I'd rather kiss a frog than marry a fat woman.
Get out of here. Not even an inflatable doll would choose you.
They rejected us for being fat. Let's go to the gym and become actresses. Look there. 2 fat pigs working out. No matter how much they work out, they will never lose weight. Oh my God, fix that divine tummy. My children, whoever likes, subscribes, and comments with this emoji, God will help you pass your tests.
What? These things are getting thousands of clicks.
Hot dogs gets me.
Hello, Supergirl. I'm ready for my kiss.
First, you have to prove it.
Ready when you are, my love.
You must eat all of them.
It's
I
wild.
don't know how much more I can take.
Oh no. There's a certain point in my life where I feel like if I wanted to be successful, maybe I'm trying too hard. And there's another side of me that says, this is the end. This is the apocalypse. And it's worse than we thought. Because this stuff is going to take over.
Wow.
Every time you click on something, every time you're searching for something, it's already happening.
Yeah.
Not to go down the AI rabbit hole, but there's even weirder ones than this.
And that's what I said. Like I said, I've clicked on some of them, and I've almost trained myself not to now, right? And I think very well the hot dog sound like that.
Very squishy.
I feel like if people continue to make those types of content, it's going to be good for us. And you know why I say it's going to be good for us is because, again, we're gonna use AI in this sense that we're gonna try to make money, and it's going to be just awful content that nobody actually wants to watch, and then people are gonna be just completely turned off from all of that and like recognize those signs, and then turn to original, real content again. God, that's so bad. I can't even. I was speechless, dude. It's so bad.
There was one. I'm not gonna be able to find it now. That was pretty impressive. It was Spider-Man was a kid. His mom told him to clean his room. He got sick, finds out that his mom, who is Wonder Woman, isn't his real mom because the police show up. The police officer turns out to be the Incredible Hulk, and I forget who his real parents were. It's like Batman and somebody. I'm like, I don't know if they asked like a chat GPT to come up with the script and that's what it came up with, or if there are people out there that are that random that's what they came up with. We are
Mediocrity.
Well, it's a good pun because I feel like most of these are coming out of India is what it looks like. There's such a disparity between what folks are doing in mass and then something like this. Have you seen the new Youngblood AI trailer?
Ooh, no, I'm not.
So for those of you who don't know, Youngblood was Rob Liefeld, Tomato.
Liefeld. I think it's Liefeld, yeah.
I said Liefeld, but then people are like, it's Liefeld. And I'm like, now I just panic whenever I got to say it in public. There's such a disparity between what is clogging up the system and then something like this. Let's see. Concept trailer, share. It's pretty neat. Now, granted, you're going to see all the things that are inconsistent, like their costumes change all the time.
Yeah.
But that looks like a Marvel trailer.
Shaft and the recon team have been neutralized by Cyberman. He's the only one that survived. Initiate Operation Youngblood.
Like, looks pretty neat.
Clearly a ripped off of Batman in that one.
Oh, yeah. No, especially with trailers, they're all going to kind of be derivative, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, like, the costumes are cool.
Yeah, like that.
Yeah,
looks great.
When we land, unleash hell.
If you pay attention to any of their costumes to this, there's zero consistency.
Yeah.
That's definitely a Liefeld gun right there.
The actual action here is awful, but
yeah, there's a lot of gaps in the technology, and I'm not like rooting for it to get any better by any measure. Like I prefer real people doing real stuff, obviously. But I feel like this kind of thing helps fuel the fandom. This is just a fan making a thing on the side. They're not trying to make, an actual movie.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Yeah, but then you got people who like, did it legit, and like the team that made the Batman Beyond mini movie they made. I don't know, it's like 10 minutes. But you could tell like they put a lot of effort into it, and they're just like a private group that I think they kickstarted the freaking project too, and it turned out amazing. I was impressed actually. So yeah, I mean there's still a really big disparity between this and that, but but this definitely like gives you the draw of like, oh, I have an idea in my head, I can kind of bring it to life as a movie and use this to pitch it to somebody or whatever.
Yeah, well, and that's, I mean, you look at the battle that the battle that our dear friend Ryan Reynolds, good friend and fan of the show, by the way. Ryan Reynolds loves the show.
Does he? Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, he's a big fan. Has nothing but great things to say about this venture here.
Nice.
The amount that he had to go through to get Deadpool made.
Yeah.
Now, granted, I don't agree with how they're making all this stuff happen. At the same time, our government is $500 billion invested in growing it, so it's not going away. Yeah, I'm trying to find. There's a dude, to your point, though. There's a one-man guy that made an entire Warhammer video that looks amazing.
Hmm.
And he actually, I believe he got employed by the folks that do Warhammer 40K.
Oh wow,
Um,
that's impressive.
let me see if I can find it real fast. I'm not gonna be able to find it, but I mean, it looks cinema quality. It's all hand animated. Now, granted, he doesn't have to do a lot with faces and stuff because they're all wearing the Space Marine helmets.
Yeah.
But everything looks really good, really good. So, yeah, I think you're right. Though the more this stuff takes over, the more pervasive it is. It's going to make room for folks that are doing it right to shine.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, the worst ones, in my opinion, are where they're trying to like use religion, in most cases Christianity, to like get people to like and follow their posts and stuff. And to me, it's just so like awful. Like what kind of person are you that you're literally creating a lie to get people to follow you for something that is against that. in a way, I guess, you know. Right.
Do you have an example?
Something that pops into my head is where they post an image of Jesus in a picture of something, and then like, you know, oh, you know, this was real and whatever, you know, please like and follow and say amen.
Oh,
Right? It's
I
like
gotcha.
yeah, it's
That's all, like we saw in that last AI video, one of the Spider-Man hot dog ones. It's like randomly stops and it's got a picture of Jesus, like, hey, hit like and subscribe, and it's like,
yeah, right, exactly. At the end of that one, it was even like, yeah, or like, you know, Jesus doing different things in different like ways, and it's like it just feels wrong. It feels gross.
Yeah, it's a little strange. It's a little strange. I always find, you know, different ways that people promote, especially small businesses that try to find those kind of ways to promote.
Yeah.
It's just interesting when you're using, you know, if that is your religion, or you know, if you're feeling called out, okay, take no offense if you don't want, do what you want to do, but find a little weird when it's like you got a plumbing company with like the Jesus fish. It's like,
yeah,
I'm sure the good Lord and Savior, when he's up on that cross, was like, plunge a good one for me, buddy. I don't know. It just seems a little weird.
Yeah.
A little weird.
Yeah.
Probably not what he had in mind. Maybe he did. I don't know. Maybe I'm missing out.
Yeah. Maybe. Who knows?
Yeah. Well, I do have a little bit of a silver lining on this.
All right.
This is a good segue here, as I'm slowly losing viewers. They're like, oh, this is talking about Jesus.
Yeah, sorry about that.
No, it's fine. It's fine. So I keep an eye on some different things, but this guy says, I asked ChatGPT to improve the quality and detail of my art.
Yeah, I'm seeing this a lot.
Well, at first, like, you click through and it's like, this guy's actually pretty good at drawing. His drawings are on the left and the AI is on the right, obviously.
Yeah.
You lose a lot of the details and characteristics and stuff, right?
Yeah.
Like the style.
Yep. And he's not even expressive in that one, right?
Yeah. Now, granted, people's taste in art and what they like, obviously, it's going to be different.
Yep.
Like, I really like this one on the left.
Me too. Yeah.
Yeah. So just out of curiosity, I got the scrolling. This is where you get in trouble. But then again, I was also like couch locked for a little bit today because I was like still kind of dealing with a little bit of a migraine.
Yeah.
So why not stare at a screen like 5 inches from my face? First comment has the most likes. Your art is better than the ChatGPT's, in my opinion. The originals have way more character. This is on the actual AI art thread. This is like where people come to show off their AI art
stuff. Yeah.
Yeah. Originals have way more character. I dig them, which means they probably like both. Let's see. I think GPT changed your drawings too greatly. And while I agree that much of the personality is stripped from many of these, I think that could be a middle ground between yours and GPT's. There's some middle ground conversations there. But I feel like most of the people that are chiming in are like, dude, your stuff's better.
Yeah. Yeah, I would say that in the case of most of them.
Yeah. You know, you go from having like a style to like this is just the homogenized. Not that I'm trying to go down another. I feel like the AI rabbit hole just happens all the time.
Oh, I mean, well, yeah. I mean, it's current, right? It's current. It's the thing. It's on everyone's mind almost all the time. It's I mean, everybody's talking about it. So
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah. Well, and it's, you know, it's hard to tell where it's going to go. So it is a hot topic. But yeah, they do have some cool stuff in there, man. So yeah, it was cool to see that people in that forum, to what you were saying, there's an appreciation for that original touch.
Yep.
Original touch.
Yeah.
Yeah,
ChatGPT still has no soul.
Yeah, it's I feel like they're gonna keep finding ways to keep integrating it more. You know, we talked about the other week where people are justifying using it to drive funding to their small business, to pay more artists and all this stuff. It's one of those things. It's not going away at all. And I think that might be contributing. I don't know. Have you had many artists come to you talking to you, and people in chat, you can chime in on this too, that are discouraged from getting into art because of AI? Have you heard much of that?
I have not, believe it or not. I mean, I think the people that are in that way are already just started just doing AI stuff, right? They've already just jumped that gun.
Yeah.
I think the people that are genuinely have an interest in creating something of their own, they want to have that conversation of like, how do I get into it? How do I do it? Regardless of everything that's going on with AI. And the guys that I talk to at shows where they, come up and they talk to me about, how they're trying to get better at their art and stuff. It's all like we have, very similar mentality. It's just like with everything that's going on with AI, like it just feels more right to create something yourself. And whether or not we'll see how the future holds for whether the value there is there or not. I think it still gives yourself something of a value to have that kind of like hobby that you feel like you can create something on your own.
Yeah, I think the major holdovers are going to be the folks that say, I will never be as good as so and so, but this tool helps me get there. Or the other one, which good luck with this debate, is the one where it's like, if you have some kind of physical or mental handicap that's keeping you from being able to make the art, and this is a potential way to make those images. I think that's such a small percent of the case. It's like, you know what, if that's what we use it for, stamp it in the law. If that helps somebody that physically can't, maybe they don't even have arms or feet or whatever, if that's the one case we're going to use it for, there you go.
You know what though, like I've seen a dude with no hands and no feet making art with his mouth. Like it's impressive. Like the guy literally draws every day and with a pen in his mouth. Like it's insane, and with detail. It was very impressive.
I only have a handful of like big original art pieces I bought. But I've got one hanging up downstairs, and it wasn't the best piece that the guy had done. It was more or less the one that I could afford. But I love the story behind it. The dude, we were at a convention, and he comes over and he's talking to me. He's asked me a lot of questions. I'm starting to get the sense that he's probing to find out if this is something he wants to do, right? And so I get to talking to him. It turns out he's friends with one of the guys that's running the show, and they were encouraging him to bring his stuff, that they were going to comp him a booth because he had just gotten out of prison. He'd been in prison for I forget how long, but quite a while, to the point where he's couch surfing, he's doing odd jobs, he's helping out at a tattoo shop, like cleaning stuff up and that sort of thing. So he ended up bringing in a bunch of his paintings, and he's telling me the story behind it. Apparently, they had a program at the prison where if you were on good behavior and you're checking all these boxes, they would make art supplies available.
Oh,
Well, he had been practicing a lot before, and he used that time to get better to the point where he was doing commissions in prison for like food and stuff out the commissary.
nice.
You know, all those tropes here about prison, like, hey, would you do that for 2 cigarettes, 5 cigarettes? Like,
Yeah.
he was making a killing making paintings to the point where he had burnt through all of the canvases that they had and all the paper that they had, and they were out for the year.
Wow.
So he had transferred to a work program, just doing odd jobs around the prison just to keep making money. And they were tearing up the carpet in one of their meeting rooms, conference rooms, and the subflooring were these 3x3 carpet squares, or cardboard squares, I should say. And they asked the head of the detail, he said, hey, is there any chance that we could put these into the art closet? Like, can I use these for canvases? And he said, yes. So I bought one of those, not because it was one of his best paintings. It's got a freaking story behind it.
Yeah, that's cool.
Yeah. And you don't get those stories from someone typing in a prompt.
Right.
So
Yeah, I was drinking coffee and I decided to hit an extra key and I got this crazy piece. Yeah.
no. Yeah, I don't know. It sure as heck ain't going away. And I've been using that Sight Engine. I think everyone should know about this tool. Sight Engine is very good at detecting if something is likely or not likely done by AI, and it'll even tell you which engine was likely used.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's interesting, but it can also send people on witch hunts.
Yeah, and definitely a conversation to have about that too.
Yeah,
yeah, it's a lot of that going on.
Yeah, I not sure how you win that one, but the unfortunately, there's a lot of publishers that are hiding behind that. Well, we're using so and so, and he says it's not AI, so probably fine. I think this all contributes to another thing that's going on here, and this is where we're going to segue into part of the title of tonight's video, is that there is a lot of burnout among people working. And there's this article that got shared on my little Microsoft startup thing. You know how it gives you all those stories when you first jump into a browser.
Yeah.
Little story here about 12 totally valid reasons that Gen X doesn't want to work anymore. Gen X. So that would be like my oldest brother, I think, would fall more into Gen X. I technically, you fall under millennial as well?
Yeah, I'm a millennial. Yeah, my wife's a millennial. And then like my wife is, I guess my wife and I are considered elder millennials. I don't know.
Yeah.
And then yeah, her oldest sister, I think, would be a Gen X.
No.
She's like in her late 40s, I think.
What kind of representation do we have in the chat here? Do we have Gen Xers, Gen Y? I don't even know all the generations. You got what? Gen X, you got baby boomers, Gen X.
Yeah. I don't know what's after. Yeah, millennials, and then there's like 3 more after that people come up with. I don't even know.
I feel like they just added a bunch.
They did, yeah.
We had like a bunch of Gen Xers. I think they got pissed off at the millennials, which were like the little brothers and sisters, so they came up with a name.
Yeah.
And then it's like there's been like 5 more since that.
Yeah.
I don't know what 1970 would be. It's probably still Gen X.
I think it's a Gen X, yeah.
Sure. There we go, Gen X.
There you go.
Gen X, which is the coolest sounding one, by the way. Like,
yes.
Like baby boomer is not an exciting one. Millennial sucks. It's like that's all you heard for the longest time. Is like these damn millennials.
Yes, Gen X is classified as between 1965 and 1980.
Interesting. Yeah. I like that there was someone tried to explain to me one day that if I was born within a certain year, that I wasn't technically a millennial, I was a zennial because I was close enough to Gen X. I'm like, I don't care either way.
Yeah, that's how I feel too. Yeah, it's like
Uh,
it's a very silly, weird way to divide ourselves again.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's
Just get lumped into more demographics.
yeah.
So, people in the chat, feel free to chime out if any of these are hitting true to you. You can say which number it is. They say number one of the reasons that people in the Gen X era are giving up on working in that work ethic is that from day one, Gen X. Do I need to do a voice for this?
Go for it.
From day one, Gen X was, I can't do it. Gen X was taught that they only had to work hard and not break laws. And in exchange, they could have a pretty okay life. Basic needs like housing, medical care, electricity, food, and a home life are guaranteed as long as they went to work and did their jobs. Decades of struggling for the middle of the road American life have left Gen X exhausted and burnt out. They don't want to work without the economic stability they've been promised their whole lives.
I feel
What do you think about
that. I feel that. I'm not even a Gen X, and I feel that.
I think that's a general.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I think, it's so weird, dude. Like the way things have changed, and then to always be told, and then think about like the Boomer generation was always telling Gen X and us millennials too, like, oh, when back in my day, I used to walk 5 miles to school. We didn't have a school bus. I'd walk 5 miles in 10 inches of snow.
Oh yeah,
he'd be like,
uphill
sure,
both
Grandpa,
ways,
sure,
and,
you know. And I don't know. We always had that generation to kind of make us feel bad about like complaining about things. And but yeah, and to Timmy's commentary, yeah, things were cheaper freaking 25, 30, 40, 50 years ago. You could get gas for under $1. I mean, shoot, man, now it fluctuates around $3. It's crazy. Yeah.
Well, it's funny though, because like gas, I remember it wasn't, I think it was like right after I graduated. That's when gas had shot up to it was over $4 a gallon. That's when we were going through all the Iraq and Afghanistan stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm like, how the heck am I making like $10 an hour? Which back then was pretty good. Like it was a job that I've been working at since I was 14.
Mm-hmm.
Like call it family business, but it was a major company, major corporation.
Yeah.
So I think I was making like $10 an hour, and yeah, $3 a gallon, $4 a gallon. That'll eat you alive.
Yeah.
Appreciate you hanging out, Dave.
Later, Dave.
See ya. Have a good night, buddy. But yeah, like in the fuel prices do affect everything else, but like you look back, how much was like a 20 ounce of pop back when you were in high school?
$1.25, maybe.
Yeah.
$1? Yeah.
It was big news when it went from $1 to $1.25.
Yeah.
And
it's like Dollar General now.
Yeah. Now it's like $3 at a gas station, I think, for a 20 ounce. Something like that.
Yeah, it's something outrageous, man. It's weird to me that it's weird to me that they sell those for, almost $3, but you can still get a 6-pack.
No.
16 ounces for like $5, $6.
Yeah.
$6.50, depending on if it's in sale. Like it just seems weird. Like I'd almost rather just get the 6-pack. But
if I do any soda anymore, it is I've got one of those soda streams. You just carbonate and put whatever you want in there.
I want one of those so bad.
It's worth it.
I want one.
It's absolutely worth it. I tried carbonating whiskey once.
Did that go? How'd that go?
There's some interesting things to say about carbonating whiskey. It has to be super cold. Okay. And like I would put it in the freezer. I don't recommend anyone do this. Number one, don't do this. Just don't do it. Don't do it. You shouldn't do it. In fact, I probably didn't do it just for the sake of the internet. I probably didn't do this. Is that even if you have like that much in the bottle, it is going to foam up like it's going to explode.
Oh, wow.
So you have to go like really slow over time, carbonate it, and it loses carbonation very quickly.
Oh,
but for those few seconds that you're sipping on it, it tastes like a really good beer.
Oh, okay. Interesting.
Certain ones do get more bitter. because of the carbonation. Others, I forget what I might have used, maybe, allegedly.
Yeah.
But there was one, I'm like, if they could find a way to carbonate this 80 proof bourbon, you could sit there and chug them. It was that good.
Oh wow.
And I'm like, I just need to quit doing this. But
That's funny.
T says, I hate to be cliche, but we did stay out till the streetlights came on in the 80s.
That was a good indicator. Time
nowadays. Yeah, nowadays, if you say it's a 8:15, people are like, well, actually, it's 8:12. Like, because they go by literally what's on their phone or what's on their,
yeah,
you know.
Yep.
But can you get 6-pack while drinking soda? You know, there's pros and cons to everything in life, trade-offs.
No, you can get a 6-pack. You'll be all right.
Yeah, let's do a couple extra crunches. Are we talking about 6-packs of beer, or are we talking about 6-packs of abs?
Either one. You can still do it.
The NOS.
Oh my goodness! I could never get behind NOS. That was the only energy drink I couldn't like. I couldn't drink it. Maybe it's just because it was the one I drank was too pineapple for me, but I don't know.
Yeah, I was more of a Monster guy.
Yeah.
In fact, I just got a whole new case of Monster that showed up today.
Nice.
Strawberry is the best. Grape's a good close second, but strawberry is the best.
Oh, Strawberry Dream one? Is that what it was?
Nice. I think Mike's agreeing with me there, and if that's not what he meant, he's absolutely agreeing with me. Thank you. I'll tell you, man. So I was with that company for a total of around 20 years, and I didn't mind working long hours. I didn't mind working hard. It was interesting though, towards the end, when I knew what I had done to get to where I am, and you see, now I'm going to feel old, when you see a young guy come in and he's making as much or more, and he just came through the door, and it's like,
it's exhausting.
Now, granted, I do have like the 401k that I've been building forever and everything else, but I'm like, that's just the nature of the world we live in. You're standing in a bucket that has like quicksand in it, and you're just trying to keep stepping up.
Yep. Yeah, and that's the exhausting part, and I feel the burnout, and like the burnout started early for me because I had to work 2 jobs. I worked a full-time job, a part-time job, and was going to school so that I could go to school and get a better job. Was the whole, the whole premise that I was taught since I was freaking 4. And it was, that was exhausting. I got through it. It was exhausting, but I got through it. I didn't, my grades weren't the most amazing things at university, but and I did end up getting a job in the field I wanted to get a job in. And then just to find out, I don't know how many years now, 15 years later, it's like, maybe I don't really want to do what I'm doing right now. You know what I mean? So yeah, no, it's exhausting. Yeah. Like Michael says, you're working on someone else's goal. And it's like, well, what about my goal?
Yeah, that's where the trade-offs are between having your own business and working for somebody else is that there's always trade-offs. Like I have a buddy that he ran his own business for about 20 years as a photographer, and he left it to do IT for a school system because he's like, you know what? I don't want this stuff haunting me when I get home. I want to be able to go home, see my kids, not have to worry about, messages I missed or phone calls or an upset customer. I can just go home and do my thing. Clock in, clock out.
Yeah.
Which I don't blame him for.
Yep.
What's up, Ben? Welcome to the chat. You have the Soda Stream, but have you seen the automatic cocktail machines?
Oh, yeah. Those are pricey.
I'm not a big cocktail guy. I don't mind them every now and then. And I suppose if I had a machine making them for me, I would drink them all the time.
I'm a mixed drink guy myself. I like mixed drinks. Yeah.
The challenge with cocktails when you like go out to eat, like you might get a burger for $15-$16. Cocktails 18 to 20.
Mm-hmm.
And there's like that much ice in it.
Yeah.
Like glass is this big.
Yep.
And
and they either make it too heavy or it's too sweet or it's
too sweet
whatever.
almost all the time.
Yeah.
I feel like that's the compensation for most restaurants is Just make it sweet as possible.
Yeah.
So I end up most of the time if I'm drinking, it's either going to be Jim Beam White Label on the rocks, or Jim Beam with I got a cherry Coke syrup. Do a little cherry Coke with some Jim Beam. That's pretty good.
Nice.
So the only machine I would need to mix those two at that point would just be like 2 funnels that run into one bottle.
There you go.
Yeah. But so yeah, man, I think the other part was the burnout thing is like you start to realize some of these companies, they talk about like partnering with you or you're part of a team or whatever. And then like a buddy just found out, I won't say what company or who it was, but a buddy of mine been working with this company for probably 10, 15 years at this point. They just started laying off departments because they have I believe they're outsourcing their call centers.
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah, that's how I lost my first job. Yep.
Yeah.
Well, I quit before they had that chance. But yeah,
yeah.
I had to quit my first job because they were planning to outsource us. Well, they had already outsourced half of us, and then they were just going to make the full switch over. They're just like, yeah, we'll just switch back over to doing all these guys in Mexico.
Yeah. That'll happen. Unfortunately, it happens more and more these days, and it's no longer like you got your job security. It's like you always got to have plan B, plan C even. Number 2 is desire for work-life balance. See, Gen X watch their workaholic parents get paid enough to provide a nice life for their family. They have never seen the same benefits. They're simply unwilling to pass that emotionally absent trauma along to their own kids anymore. They aren't going to work at the cost of their family. They fully realize the whole point of working is they can have a life outside of work. And without that, they don't see the point in providing their labor for others.
Yeah, dude. It's rough, man. Oh, yeah. I mean, we're seeing it. We're seeing it in the Comic-Cons and stuff with all these new vendors and artists and stuff. Is everybody's working. They're working their 9 to 5, and everybody feels like they have to have a side hustle. Now, whether or not the side hustle is something they're actually truly passionate about is another story. But like everybody has to work 2-3 jobs. It's like just to afford things for their kids, for themselves, for being able to do whatever.
It's just laziness. I think there's a fair amount of that though. I really do.
Yeah.
There is a
lot of people that don't have any work ethic at all.
I about tore into this kid. I was at this is back when I was with the company.
Oh wow.
Now granted, I learned from my dad who would work ungodly hours. He fits this of you got one parent that's working ungodly hours to provide for the family so you can have a life. That was definitely him. That's where I learned a lot of my work ethic was watching him.
Yeah.
And what he went through, and knowing what I had gone through, because I have sacrificed a lot for that company, a lot of long hours, a lot of vacation time sacrifice, that sort of thing. And I got this guy that's fresh out of college. And with the company, you had, if you're like a trainee, like a management trainee, where you're going to like potentially move into like a service manager or something like that, they would make you spend like a month or more in each department to learn the ropes. So I had him for a month, and we're maybe 2 weeks in, and he's like, Steve, I don't think I can do this. Like, this is too much. It's a lot of work. I like to work out when I get home, and I'm tired when I get home. And I'm just like, in the back of my brain, it's just like boiling. Because I'm like, I know how many hours I've worked for free. I know how many vacation days I've gotten rid of. And I have run the route that this dude's talking about running. And I'm like, everything that you just complained about, buddy. And I told him this. I didn't say buddy. That's kind of condescending in this scenario, but I was feeling pretty condescending at the time. I was like, hey, dude, all these negative things that you're telling me when you're going to your job interview and they say, tell me about some of the challenges that you had in your role. They want to hear these challenges and hear what you did to overcome them. Like that's what they want. They want someone that can step up and do more. But But on the flip side, like if you're in a role for a few years and you don't see any opportunities, it's like, well, I want this to take care of what I'm doing at home.
Yeah.
Otherwise, why am I coming to work?
Yep.
Yeah. So,
yeah, my wife, just a quick story. My wife, so she quit her job. This isn't one of the primary reasons, but this was a reason that was getting there. She quit her job because the factory she was working in started demanding. So it was one thing, right? Like you have enough people that are willing to do overtime. They started demanding people do overtime. Started saying it was mandatory overtime.
Yeah.
And just that alone was like this switch was like, okay, what? Now you're forcing me to do it? It's one thing that whether or not I wanted to do it. Now, like, I'll work 4 hours for you. Sure. We get that team mentality going and we gotta do that final push, but now you're forcing people to do it. And it takes that completely away and makes it, you're kind of our slave for the weekend. Yeah. So then it's like, whoa. And don't get me wrong. There was times where it's like, well, you got to pay your bills. You need to do it, or whatever. And I worked many hours of overtime when I worked in the factory too. So like, but yeah, to be forced to do it is a whole different thing. It literally just makes you feel like uncared about. And when like you are working 8 hours a day and you've only got 5-6 hours after you get out of work, 4 hours. Now you've got 3 or 4 hours after work and you're working overtime every day. Like, it's like, okay, I'm working more than I'm living. And it's rough. And then to be forced to do it too is a whole other thing.
The expression I've been saying more and more fits in with what you're saying here. I've been saying this myself, and I've been hearing more people say it, is the juice worth the squeeze?
Yeah. Or
the inverse being that the juice is not worth the squeeze.
Right.
So I think that's true for a lot of people right now. And as our friend T, my brother T in the chat said earlier, like nothing's getting cheaper.
Yeah. And the worst part is these businesses over the last 40 years or so, 50 years, you can look this up. The graph of productivity has gone from, like here to like here. So they're expecting people to do more at these jobs too, right? So it's like now you had a pretty stable job, it was okay, it wasn't too hard. Now you're working these jobs and they're forcing you to do more and more work at the job and all this other stuff. And like it's for them to force all these extra things on you too. It's like, okay, well, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Well, and inevitably, if you're a top performer and you have lower performers around you, they're going to get more out of you and even less out of those other ones.
Yeah, that's true. That's true too.
Tends to be the case.
Yep.
Let's burn through a few of these here. Frustration with lack of career advancement.
Is the link on? What's that mean?
What's that?
Michael asked, "Is the link on?"
Is the link on? Means. I don't know.
I don't know, buddy.
Oh, I think he wants to jump in.
Oh.
Can you? I think I sent it to the email. So yeah, if you want to jump in, bud, I'll keep an eye out for you. If you need that link sent again, James, I don't know if you can forward that to him.
Yeah,
I might have missed him. The whole frustration with a lack of career advancement, it goes on with like hearing stories of I was a janitor and worked my way up to the C-suite. Like that was my story. I started out as pretty much a janitor at this company, and I worked my way up to like regional sales manager kind of thing. That wasn't the exact title, but I had a pretty large region that I was managing. And it kind of got to a point where like no one really cared about that story anymore. For a while, like the company would use it. But nowadays it's like there's a lot of companies that are looking at who is working for them, and they're already bogged down with the work that they have, and a lot of them are good at it. If they promote any of those people, now you got to replace that person, or you just hire from outside.
Yeah.
So I don't know.
Yeah, that was tough too. I had a job that I liked a lot. Like a lot. Like I liked I liked everybody that I had to help, and I liked how fluid the job was. There was a whole bunch of things I liked with it, but the problem was there was no. I was doing more and more for the company, and there was no like advancement or appreciation of like the extra things I was doing, except for the people on the floor. The people on the floor were like, "Dude, we love you. You're amazing. You know, whatever. We're so happy to have you here." But like my boss and like everybody else, like in those positions, like they're like, "Well, there's not really much we can do for you. This is a small company. You can't really advance anywhere." Okay, well, I'd be okay with a friggin' a new title, and you say, you know, give me an extra $1 an hour. I would have been happy with that. But instead, I had to leave. Yeah, instead I had to leave this company that I had worked with for 4 or 5 years.
Yeah,
it was crazy.
Yeah, I think I've seen this happen before too with the company I was with, but there are times where managers were afraid to give real feedback to their employees under the fear that they would quit.
Yeah.
So if you have a top performing person who's really good at what they do, like I had a number of people that were really good at what they would do, but I'm like, I can't make you a supervisor.
Yeah.
Because people quitting left and right.
Yeah.
But with a lot of them, I would say, hey, if you want to talk to me again about a promotion opportunity, I gotta get real blunt with you. But I don't want to get blunt with you if you don't want to have that conversation. And inevitably, they'll be like, yes. Like, if you don't fix this, this, and this, you will never get promoted at this company.
Yeah.
And even if you don't fix those things, it will be problems for you. So even if I disappear and I go away and they bring somebody else in, the one dude, he was just a really sarcastic dude. Good guy. He got a lot done, but he always had some comment, and he was always at meetings and on the side. You know, a lot of times it was funny, but I'm like, dude, you can't be doing that.
Yeah.
And it says, as long as everybody's saying that, you're not going to get promoted.
Yeah.
And he fixed it. He ended up getting promoted.
That's awesome.
Mike has some wisdom here, though. He says that he used to hate managing his region, but then he heard about Manscaped.
That's funny.
Imagine when we get sponsored by Manscaped, and like every 20 minutes we have to stop and talk about.
That would be hilarious. That would be fun, actually. We have a lot of jokes.
Let's see. I don't know how much we want to talk about this. We've been talking about this for a while with just this topic in general. So we can keep going on. Technological changes in automation.
Yeah.
Some people don't like making the jump to new tech.
Yeah, that in my opinion is pure laziness.
I don't think it's much a Gen X thing, though.
No, I think that's more of a boomer thing. I think, but I could see Gen Xers holding on to some things, like, you know,
it's the way we always did it.
But yeah.
I've known one guy that I worked with that specifically left when we went from using like paper tickets for work orders to using looked like a graphing calculator.
Yeah.
He just didn't want to use it. He didn't want to deal with it, mainly because he thought it was spying on him. Which I think is a different problem than dealing with changes. That's a paranoia issue.
Yeah.
It was probably paranoid because he spent a lot of time parked in parking lots instead of doing his job.
That's funny.
Sorry, buddy. A shift in values. This is an interesting one. This gets grim fast. This gets real grim. In recent years, Gen X has been looking around at work saying, are we the baddies? Are we the bad guys? This has led to a priority shift in purpose-driven work that aligns with their values. Gen X doesn't want to work for companies that do things that are seen as bad for the world or set labor standards below, except interesting.
Yeah, that's not a bad. That's not a bad. I mean, that's a good reason to quit if you're like, you know, you guys aren't doing anything to help your workers, help the environment, or anything else. But
if you realize you're standing on the deck of the Death Star and you're like, wait a second.
Yeah. Wow, maybe we're the bad guys. That one's a weird one because there's not many places or companies nowadays that aren't trying to do more green wise. But however, in the retrospect is I have not seen many companies try to step up and do more for their workers. There are those, right? There are a lot of those companies that do step up and they want to make sure that their workers are taken care of and all sort of stuff, whether it be mentally, financially, or whatever. But there are a lot of companies out there that are like, they just don't care about you and they don't care about everybody else. And I guess, with Gen Xers being a little bit older, they look and see some of the millennials or even what's the current generation? What do we say they were?
Zoomers.
Whatever. Yeah.
The Zoomers.
You're the Zoomers, whatever. Looking down on them and say, that this isn't right for them and be like, oh, we need to do something about it. But I don't know.
Well, let's see if Michael has anything he wants to add. He is joining us here live tonight. Michael, welcome to the chat, buddy. How you doing?
What's that?
Doing pretty good, man. How you doing?
Good. Tell us more about this Manscaped thing you found out about.
Well, at first I thought I didn't need it, and then I got a puppy, and now I got ticks. So,
oof.
I'm joking, but anyways.
All right, guys, it was great having Michael join us. I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
He's going to be here all in 30 seconds.
Well, good night, folks.
Yeah.
Welcome to the chat, buddy.
Yeah.
What, do you got anything to weigh in on here with the topic here tonight about Gen Xers cashing out on working hard, giving up on their work ethic?
Yeah, I mean, like, what's the topic that you guys are touching upon right now?
We're talking about the shift in values, where people are asking our company, are we not morally aligned like we used to, kind of thing.
I'm going to say, as Gen Xers, we read more of Chris Claremont's X-Men, and we developed our values and knowing what's good and what's bad through that. And I don't know. I mean, I can speak for myself. I quit, walked out on jobs before, had nothing to do with what I was getting paid. Had everything to do with they were treating people like trash. And, when you have entire divisions deciding to walk out, and you're like, yeah, I feel it. I see it. What's the point? You're getting people hurt. You're overworking people. You're cutting corners that are not OSHA regulated or whatever. It's all that kind of stuff. I don't know. I think whether it's all across the board and it's just Gen Xers or whatever, but I just know that I'm kind of in line with that. I think you're taking, what is it? I'm making $20-something an hour about 8 years ago, right? In a very impoverished part of Northern California. And then you find out that the president of the company is taking from everyone's retirement 401k. So I'm like, well, dude, I don't really care how much I'm getting. I don't really care, what this person's getting or anything like that. It's ugly. You find out about it, it's ugly. You don't really want to be a part of it, because the more that you're kicking ass on sales and everything like that, and the more that you're generating for the people that are supposed to be getting that money, and that money's not getting to them, and screw that, man. Charles Xavier, that was not his dream. So,
I don't know what Charles Xavier would be like if he had to run a multi-tiered level corporation. That's
I don't know.
I think it works well for a small school. I don't know how, if you extrapolate that.
Sure, but I mean, the dude's interdimensional, bro. He's like otherworldly as well. He goes like intergalactic. So I'm pretty sure he knows what's up a little bit.
I think Beastie Boys went intergalactic too once.
Yeah, well,
T chimes in with, I guess if we're talking about Gen X and a shift in values, let's be honest, if you're Gen X, you're 50 and up, at 50 years old, you're either close to retirement or made it to a point that you can retire soon, and then you realize you're in a shitty company.
That's all you would think. Or a lot of these guys, have had investments for so many years, and with everything that's changed over the last 2 years, you just made so much money. You're just like, fuck it, I'll leave.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm seeing some of these guys driving freaking Lambos and stuff. So I know.
Yeah, I think you know, even when I started working back very late 90s, early 2000s, you didn't know any better. You only knew like the people that you were talking to, and they'd be like, "Oh man, it's great over here, great money, but yeah, it's a little dangerous or whatever. Just, you know, make sure you wear your, you know, whatever the talk was, that's all you knew." But now with the internet and you see how people are making money and how your working conditions are terrible compared to somebody else's, you start to put everything in a different sort of light.
Yeah.
I don't know. Especially, Michael, I think you brought up the OSHA thing with safety. Like that's been a huge one over the last 10, 20 years.
Yeah, I
Companies
mean,
that embraced it.
yeah. What was it like? You know, like one of the jobs I had was I worked up in Neighbors, Alaska, right up in Alaska, in Dead Horse, Alaska. So working for a company, oil rigging company, and you know they come in there and they're like, "Yeah, we want you to go ahead and be safe and this and that." I'm like, "Yeah, cool, let's do it. Let's go safety, right?" And then, you know, 2 weeks later, you have on the first day of the jobs, like people's skin off their hands are being ripped off and everything, and you have people getting hit by loaders because everyone's loaded. You know what I mean? You have just like horror stories, and then you get out there and you're doing certain things and you're trying to become aware of what's being told to you, rather than just doing everything that you're told. And the mentality is still very much like, oh, just get it done and everything like that. Don't worry about it, and you gotta man up. You gotta just go
step over that hole in the floor.
Yeah, don't. I mean, no, like literal case in point. Guy tells me to go ahead and cut a door down with a blowtorch. I was like, all right, that's cool. I'll go ahead and do it. I got a cutting torch. I'm ready to do it, right? And then I'm like thinking, wait a second. So this is going into the engine room. Anytime that you have something that's explosive or whatever on the other side, is usually have a foam inside of the door, right? For like heat resistance or whatever. Right?
Firewall, that kind of thing. Yeah,
right. And then so he's telling me to go ahead and cut into it. Well, if you cut into that and you hit that foam that's inside, it creates cyanide gas. So I'm like thinking, wait a sec, let me step back and let me ask somebody else really quick. Not to do it for me, but like to go ahead and say, hey, wait a second, isn't that like not really good? Absolutely right.
I've heard about this cyanide before. I think the Joker used it once or twice.
Yeah, I've only bitten into a capsule 3 times. But yeah, it's just ridiculous. So again, it really depends on the company. It depends on the mindset. I feel that if we're driven by achievements every year, trying to outdo the previous year with less resources, dude, there's going to be shortcuts being cut left and right, unfortunately. And it's also dependent on your leadership at the job, right? And just so happens the last 3 jobs that leadership release has been that of the Brotherhood of Evil Mutants. So, I'm going to stick with the X-Men,
Yeah, I like it.
Yeah, so
I like it. Let's check out a couple more of these, and maybe we put a bow on this conversation here, because I think we're hitting a lot of these points pretty well already. Financial security, early retirement options. Yeah, I think there are some people that were lucky enough to like make the right investments and that sort of thing, but there's so many that it's quite the opposite, where the 401ks tanked back in 2008, and then they've just never been able to recover because of, could be a divorce, it could be all kinds of things that you aren't on the same playing field anymore, and now you're competing with a young and up and coming job market. That's a whole nother thing. Yeah, which goes right into this one: age-based biases in employment. You would like to think that no one is having that bias when you're going in for an interview, but even if it's for a promotion, people will take that into consideration, and they shouldn't get sued for that stuff. Let's see.
Be right back, guys. 1 second.
Yeah, do your thing, man. caretaking for their own parents, that is becoming a thing. Too much financial. Yeah, these all kind of roll into the same thing. Unattainable healthcare. Everything is worse now. Let's just end it with that for this topic. Everything's worse now. Thoughts on that?
Time for let's invent the time machine. Let's make it better for ourselves. Let's go back in time.
You know, there's a lot of people think that we've always had time machine because once you have it, you always have it, right?
Hey, yeah, possibly.
Yeah. Appreciate you hanging out, T.
Right.
Yep. We'll see you Friday, buddy. Yeah, I think that the time travel thing starts to make more and more sense. Just nothing really makes sense. You know, I don't want to get into like all the Mandela effects,
Right.
but when you look at the Industrial Revolution and how far we've come in a short amount of time and the exponential growth we've had since the Industrial Revolution, I think there might be some time travel going on, buddy.
Well, I mean, what are they saying? That they have that is potentially you had advanced civilizations all the time, and every time that some big catastrophic event has occurred, there's always been somebody from the previous civilization trying to teach the new civilization, or having a way to teach the newer civilization to try to get back up to speed.
Yeah, some people think that's the Mothman. Now,
The Mothman.
The Mothman. Yeah.
Mothman.
There's some people think that it's a could be a time traveler, could be a spiritual entity, could be all kinds of things. But yeah, that's
I'm turning my light off.
What's that?
I said I'm turning my light off. Stay away from me, Mothman.
I'm like, wait, what?
Did I throw you off there?
There's a conspiracy theory that talking about those ancient civilizations that the Egyptians, who I don't know if you guys heard, have some pretty impressive buildings and structures that they made, also had some in the Grand Canyon. And they think that the deep conspiracy would be that a lot of these folks that were digging, they found allegedly these caverns that go into the Grand Canyon that had Egyptian hieroglyphs and Egyptian artifacts in them. But the Smithsonian covered it up.
Okay.
Allegedly. So that whole idea of like having another civilization come down to provide that information, I mean, maybe. Who knows?
Yeah.
Wait a second.
Mm-hmm.
How fast was Pangea? Could you imagine one of the catastrophes was Pangea was actually a lot faster than what they're predicting, or what they're calculating.
You're talking about like the pole shift kind of stuff?
Dude, just like the landmass is just ripping apart.
Yep. Well, that was the whole thing with the magnetic pole shift. They're saying that when you flip all that mass that's spinning inside the Earth would create like crazy tidal waves and huge ruptures in land. And that could have been what split up the continents, perhaps.
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah, lots there.
We figured it out on the Steve Messenger program.
Guys, this is what I specialize in solving world problems.
Yes.
It's just that no one's bothered to ask.
Diving deep in conspiracies. Let's do it.
It was one of my favorite games for a while. Was you meet a new group of people, or you're stuck like at a party or something, and as you say, you want to play the conspiracy game. Start with a conspiracy that you kind of believe, or maybe you fully believe, and then the next person has to say another one, but they can't say the same thing.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah. So it starts off light, everyone's like JFK, there had to have been more people involved. Then it goes to moon landing, did that really happen? And from there, I've heard some interesting ones.
And now we could talk about, did Katy Perry really go to space? Was that real or was that fake? Katy Perry.
What about her?
She went to space, supposedly.
Bro, she went to space a long time ago. Have you seen some of her freaking newer videos? I'm joking.
I stand by Wendy's. Send her back.
Oh my god,
controversial tweet.
that is so funny. And that's all they said. And there's this big to do about it. And they're like, "No, we're not going to apologize."
Wait, what did they say? What did she say about space?
All they did was Katie had posted something like with her flower or whatever she was doing, or love sign, whatever it was. She just posted like, successful trip to space or whatever. And then Wendy's, the hamburger establishment, run by I believe still the daughter of good old, God rest his soul, Dave Thomas, said, "Can we send her back?" That's all they said in the tweet.
Yep, that was it.
And you would have thought that there was some sort of disparaging beyond anything that could be ever forgiven.
Mm-hmm.
Quite the rift. I stand by
Yeah.
Wendy's.
Yeah, there's talk of Katy Perry suing them over that.
Why?
I don't think that would. Yeah, that wouldn't fall under anything at all. Like
No, she didn't read the second tweet. Send her back with a Wendy's meal.
Yeah.
Oh,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah.
Are you hungry? Going to space?
There's
That's
a biggie
funny.
meal to go. Ben's chiming in. Carrier pigeon buffalo wings.
Oh my goodness! I bet you they're delicious.
Well, I'm not as familiar with carrier pigeons. The passenger pigeon, though, you missed the window on that. That actually might have been why they went extinct. Everyone got a taste for
Wild
the wings. Yeah.
How
Maybe
long
that's
is
why.
Wild Wings
That's
business?
why wings are so expensive now.
Yeah. I like how that was the one that shot up during COVID because of all the different food scares with the processing plants and stuff. And now chicken wings are just as expensive.
Yeah.
Like they didn't bother to.
No, never went back down. Yeah, it's ridiculous. You used to be able to get chicken wings like a single for I don't know, $6, $5, $6, and now it's like $12 or $13 for a single. It's like, what the hell am I paying for?
No.
For something that they used to throw out.
Mm.
They used to throw out chicken wings and chicken whatever you call them, thighs or whatever. They used to throw them in the garden. Just throw them out.
Could you possibly argue? So when you go to any wing establishment, they give you the flats and then give you the what do you call the other part?
The drumstick, maybe?
Sure.
Yeah.
Sure.
Could
you argue that if you ordered 10 of those and they brought you out 10 of those, you got 10 half wings?
Like
if you're charging me per wing,
yeah,
and you're only giving me half the wing, I should be
Yeah.
getting 20 of those pieces.
Yeah, that's a good point.
These are things that I think about when I'm driving all over the country.
Yeah, man. You should call me up, man. You have too much alone time.
I think I'm gonna try this. If I go to any establishment and they bring out 10 halves, and I think that if you got the manager involved, you get some spit on wings to come out, and be like, "Here's the rest of your wings." We all spit on them. Yeah.
That spit's yummy.
Well, I mean, usually the wings are pretty dry anyways, right? So a little bit of moisture wouldn't hurt. So.
Listen, speak for where you guys come from, okay? We have the best wings here because we are buffalo wings. Okay.
I had to go back to the direwolf cloning. That's the they've been talking about like ever since the advent of this genetic modification thing. It's like, what if you could modify a chicken to have like 8 wings? Yeah,
That would be gross. I don't think I would eat that.
Don't they already do that during like the NFL Thanksgiving Day football games? The turducken.
That's a little different. That's like the Russian nesting doll of foods.
Oh, well,
that's disgusting.
Similar idea though.
Supernatural had an episode about that. It was hilarious.
The only other one, while I'm pulling up the last topic I have for the evening, the only other thing that I was going to say was I discovered a major loophole. If you ever get a speeding ticket, you ready for this?
Okay.
You might be able to get out of a ticket if you can get the cop to laugh, I think. Or on a bet. Like, a lot of jokes. It's like, I bet the officer if I could show him this, and he's like, I'll be damned. Well, no speed limit sign that I've ever seen in the U.S. on a highway has miles per hour written on it anywhere. It just says speed limit 65, speed limit 70. There's no unit to measure.
Oh.
There you go.
I think
Oh,
I'm
wait
pure
a sec.
technicality.
Oh, wait a second though. Like kilometers though, the kilometers are usually run higher than.
Oh, I wouldn't use kilometers. You can use any
okay.
unit of measure you want.
I gotcha.
Yeah. Because that would be their dumb argument, right? The cop, he'd be standing like, whoa, what do you mean kilometers? He'd try to do that. And I'm smarter than a cop. At least one cop.
If you'd
I'm
like,
probably smarter than 37 cops.
if you'd like, sucker.
As I'm laying there getting tased.
65 miles of light years.
All right, smart ass. We're taking you in cuffs.
Nah, I feel like I would have to get the right cop with the right sense of humor on the right night to be like,
Yeah.
you got us. You figured it out.
You know, another good way to get out of a ticket is have kids in the backseat.
Yeah, but make sure that they're
I've had
buckled into
that.
the seat.
I've had that. I had my son was in the back seat. I got pulled over. The cop claimed that I ran the stop sign and followed me for like a weird long amount of time for absolutely no reason. And I'll admit I kind of did. I did the rolling stop and then stopped, you know. And I was like, she's like, oh, you know. And then she saw the kid in the back, and he's like, why are we stopped? And she's like, oh, you know, it's late at night. And I was just like, well, of course, I had a slap story to go along with it. But I'm like, oh, we're coming from the hospital. I'm just trying to go home, take my kid home. And then she's like, well, you know, you went through the stop sign. And I said, no, I didn't. She said, oh, all right. Well, I'll tell you what, you have a good night. I was like, wow, that worked. I was going to go along with it and say I was sorry and everything like I usually do. And the one time I said, no, I didn't do it.
Gotta know your rights, man.
Yeah.
Never admit.
Yeah, I know that now. Yeah.
Make them beat it out of you. That's the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Try to do the whole sovereign citizen thing. Yeah. So I think, James, you and I have talked at some point, I believe, like we've at different points in life have been into video games, right?
Oh, yeah.
Michael, have you been a gamer, still a gamer?
I used to play like a lot of Halo and a lot of Madden and stuff, but always like versing somebody else. Never really trying to do the whole gameplay. Just really just, that kind of stuff.
Well, head-to-head competitive action.
Had to, yeah.
Nice.
Well, anyone in the chat, if you've jumped on this, let us know. The big story this week is that our dear friends at Bethesda Gaming, fans of the show, by the way, huge fans, allegedly.
Yeah.
They have re-released with a remastered version of Oblivion, a game that came out almost 20 years ago, possibly 20 years ago or more. I don't know.
Yeah, it's some sort of anniversary because they're talking about it.
And there's a lot of buzz. Have you guys been hearing anything about this?
I was just impressed with the overhaul of graphics was pretty good.
It did look really good.
It did, yeah.
It did.
I haven't seen anybody play it yet.
So there's a lot of reports coming out. Number one, a lot of people praising it for the same thing. Great graphics. Gameplay holds up from 20 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Some people complaining that it feels like a 20-year-old game with a facelift, which is totally fair. What I'm enjoying the most is, and we're not going to watch this whole video because it is all over the place, is it has so many bugs. It's not funny. or rather, it is kind of funny. So we'll play a couple of these.
Oh, hello. Greetings. How may I help you?
Oh my goodness.
That's a little weird stuff.
They're like dancing. That's funny. You know what though? The original game was like this too.
I think
there's
that's
lots
the
of
thing
little
people
like
forget.
silly bugs. I mean, even Skyrim had silly bugs.
Yeah.
There was just so many of them. It's like it's hard to figure out which ones to patch, which ones not to.
Yeah.
What is it now?
It's gonna keep keep working that field.
NPCs doing random jobs in the middle of nowhere for no reason. And you're just like, what are you doing right now?
It kind of makes me wonder. I don't know a ton about game dev, but like if there's literally like you can go in and just put higher res stuff like skins on everything and just keep the exact same engine underneath.
You can. Yeah, I mean, it's like you have the programming which calls to the art. All you gotta do
Yeah.
is change the art, right? And it's really kind of that easy. I do think that they did some other things to it, but
No,
I could be wrong. I don't know exactly what was done.
I do like this. This is the I forgot to. So
Guard.
they try to make the guards a little bit more intimidating when they show up. Which
Yeah.
I can appreciate the theatrics. Here he is. He's trying to steal something. Little pickpocket.
Stop. You violated the law. Pay the court a fine or serve your sentence.
I like the very
Yeah.
like
Yeah, I'm gonna get you.
it's like the Goodfellas. The Goodfellas coming across the street. Hey, you didn't pay to cross the street.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I don't know. Do you guys have you played any other remastered games that have come out?
That's a good question. I feel like I have. What did I play that was remastered? It's been a while if I did.
They did that to Skyrim. A mod changed the shaders and skins, then Bethesda made it part of an anniversary release. Interesting. Yeah, that's the one thing about the, especially the Bethesda games. The mod community is huge.
Oh yeah, yeah, lots of mods.
That was there's another video that I'm not going to try to find it now, but someone had kind of maxed out what you can do with Skyrim, which again is another, was that 10 years old now? Something like that.
Yeah, it looked beautiful.
And it looked like a next gen game. It looked
Yeah.
amazing.
It looks better than most games out now. Like it was crazy. It was just a mod. Yeah, no, I'm a huge fan of the mod community, especially so like Fallout. So like, I don't know. I haven't tried it on Xbox. I haven't played it yet because I played most of my stuff on Xbox, and now I kind of feel like an old person because I'm outdated. But
I have a hard time keeping up games.
yeah,
nowadays
they have
anyways,
the Xbox Series X now, and like I can barely run anything on my Xbox One anymore. But
Oh, yeah.
anyways, like Fallout has a mod community like so impressive that someone's been working on a mod for Fallout that expands the game to basically twice the size. And like they have voice actors and all sorts of stuff, and like I don't know
Wow.
what happened. Bethesda like kind of helped him with it, I guess, before like they actually
Interesting.
released it. And then there was like there's like a couple of them though. There's more than one where like you basically travel to this whole another world, and it's set, and it has its own like origins, its own like characters, and all sorts of stuff. It's crazy that people put all this effort into games that either that they've been playing for so many years. Instead of making their own game, they just like, oh, I'll just add on to a game that exists already.
Yeah.
But it's impressive.
Yeah, it's beyond my wheelhouse, that's for sure. Ben gives me clarification and makes me feel even older. Skyrim was 14 years ago.
Yeah, wow. Dude, I played Morrowind. Morrowind was probably, 25 years ago or something.
Yeah. That was my buddy had that one. I watched him play a little bit.
I liked Morrowind.
I always tried to steal everything, and I would always get caught, and there I am in prison.
Stealing was tough. Yeah, you have to be very secretive in Morrowind to steal. Yeah, I remember that. But if you stole at the right place at the right time in the most random, like because certain crates would have random things that showed up, you would get like some OP like weapons at the beginning of the game. And all you had to do was steal something out of a box. That was the best. And then they had the best cheats too. I remember up, left, right, A, B, black, white. Was like the health refill bar cheat.
Yeah, I think it was Oblivion was the one where it's really hard to get health potions. So it's like
maybe, yeah, constantly
dying all the time.
Yeah.
But I think you might have brought up a point with the whole modding community thing. If you're Bethesda and you have had this modding community that's more or less working for free, that is doing a better job with your game than you did.
Mm-hmm.
And meanwhile, you've just been selling that game for the last, 14 years?
Mm-hmm.
What incentive do you have to change anything that you're doing?
Yeah. Yeah, none. They somehow have created games that are so awesome that people are such big fans that they're willing to just keep working on it for you. Yeah. Yep.
At that point, it's like anything that you make now is going to get compared to the last 14 years of mods.
Mm-hmm.
Like, good luck.
Yeah. Yeah.
Much as we're
that's
finding
tough.
out with this graphical overhaul, people are already comparing this to Skyrim mods.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
Mm-hmm.
Any thoughts on that, Mike? Excellent.
No.
Well, we'll wrap up with the very last thing. We added a new segment. We added an advice segment.
Yes.
Where we go to Reddit and we raid the forums. And I have two options tonight that you guys can pick from. I'm not going to try to share the tabs because it's going to be too much clicking around. We have the general advice column where we can let someone from the chat pick, or you guys, if you see one you really like, just a general advice forum from Reddit. Or I found a random one that is interesting in the r/teenager forum that is run by an individual that goes by, I don't know if I'm allowed to say this or not. Say male essence filled ant nest. And the title of it is, I've seen enough terrible advice on this sub, so I'm going to make it Ask Me Anything of My Own. Ask whatever, no limits. I'm here to do advice. We can do that, or we can pick a random one from the advice tab.
I'm good with picking a random one.
Going to pass up that opportunity to see what the ant nest is all about?
Or yeah, we could see that one. We'll do that one too. Sure.
All right. We'll do one or two of these. I will show you. Let's see. I've seen enough terrible advice. All right. So obviously the first one is, how'd you come up with your user ID? He would have been like 14 when he came up with it. That's a typical 14-year-old thing to do. Here's a deep one. We go right from that into, why would I do anything in life if I'm going to die anyways?
Oh my goodness. Good Lord.
This is what's going on in the teenager forums these days.
Okay.
You guys want to tackle that one? You thought this was going to be fun.
Yeah, we got dark real quick. That was
real quick, bro.
Very fast. Darkness.
So you can do that one, or you got any good albums to listen to? And do you believe humans are inherently evil? Would you like to tackle any of those questions? Or would you like to see what's behind door number 2?
Like, are we supposed to try to give bad advice or good advice?
Any advice you'd like?
Oh, okay.
I mean, those are good questions.
Man, if this was a hotline, people were calling in. This is
yeah.
No, I would. Nope.
I'll glass a nope.
That's a nope from Michael. Okay.
No, let's do it. Let's go ahead. Whatever one you select, I'll try to go with like the good advice.
Let's start with an easy one. You got any good albums to listen to? Any good music to listen to?
Yes, I would say if you're a fan of metalcore or hard rock, you should check out Dayseeker. The album. Shoot, what the album's called? Dang it, I lost the name. Hold on.
Dayseeker. Haven't heard of them.
No, they're fantastic.
Friends in the chat, while you're hanging out, if you want to chime in with some of your favorite albums or bands you've been listening to lately, let's hear that.
Dark Sun.
And hit that like button too, if you would. That'd be great. Appreciate you.
Dark Sun or Sleep Talk. Those are their two best albums.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting. What are you listening to lately, Michael?
Let's see here. There was the Cavalera Conspiracy Psychosis album.
Okay.
I think I've heard them. They came up randomly on a suggested.
Yeah, and Faith No More, Angel Dust.
There you go.
Yeah.
Well, Faith No More. I've been listening to the Doom soundtrack.
Nice.
Just the good heavy ones. But there's a dude on there, Anthony F. Biacchi, I believe is his name, or maybe it's Biacchi. Maybe it's one of those C's. This is actually a ch instead of a k.
Yeah, maybe.
Dude writes some heavy stuff, and when I listen to like industrial metal like that, I like to listen and see if I could pick out like what's a synthesizer or what's just a really overcrushed guitar or, you know, whatever it might be. So that's what makes me tick. Let's jump into the dark one now. Why would I do anything in life if I'm gonna die anyways? Why do anything?
Why wouldn't you? I guess, right?
Yeah.
Why wouldn't you? Just, I mean, you have a life to live. Just live it anyways, right? Do what you want to do.
Yeah, because you're here. Because you're here, you have a pulse.
Yeah,
Yeah.
YOLO.
Freaking see how you can wear it out. You know, have a good time before you're not here.
Yeah, make a difference if you can. If you want to. If you don't want to make a difference, don't make a difference. I think life, you will get out of life what you give it. I mean,
Take it easy,
life will be hard.
Was it Paul McCartney? Was it Paul McCartney that came up? It was like the love you make, or the love you take is equal to the love you make, or something like that. What is it?
I only know it from, I think it was Chris Farley was quoting
Yeah.
that. Was that he was doing the interviews?
Yeah, he was talking to Paul.
Remember that time you were?
That was cool.
That's cool.
Yeah.
Oh, idiot. Yeah.
Yeah.
That God, who was he? Was he talking to McCartney on that one?
Yeah, he was talking to Paul McCartney on that one. Yeah.
That was, and yeah, and he said, you know, if you had good advice, yep, it's all coming back now. The chat's been left dumbfounded by my my rattlings. You know, I think going back to our conversation earlier about the work mindset and all that, I had this mindset for a long time of I need to work to climb the ladder to be the best that I can be so that like I could provide for a family and stuff. And the whole like family thing just never really materialized. And part of that was because I was dead tired from working all the time. And there was at some point where I realized, like, number one, if I continue what I'm doing, I am just on a wheel spinning until I die. So what is the point? And then the number two thing was, if I was someone that met me, I probably wouldn't want anything to do with me because I'm boring as hell because all I do is work all the time. So I think if you're struggling with why do anything if you just die, I think you need to take a look at what you're doing and why you're doing it.
Yeah.
That would be my 2 cents.
And then jump into an ice cold lake and
see what that's like.
Yeah, get you, get out of that cycle. See what happens.
Yeah, sometimes you do have to take a wild change. That's I've got a buddy right now that's kind of going through it. He's had a lot thrown at him. His work's doing some really dumb stuff. And he's been asking me a lot of questions about, how you run your own business and that sort of thing and all this. And it's like, it's a wild change, but it can be done. And sometimes people just need that wild change. If you've been in a rut for so long, you got to do something drastic to shake it up.
Yep.
But I think part of it for me, not to get too deep, dark, and depressing at the end of the show here, but one of the things that really woke me up was when my dad passed away. I'll share a quick story here. He had always been the guy that was like, I'm going to work till I die. I'm going to work till I die. Never ever heard him talk about retirement until one fateful day he told me what he wanted to do when he retired. And that was to be a spokesperson for Manscaped. Our sponsor no, kidding. He wanted to work on rebuilding and re-outfitting old tractors. So all those old tractors that you see rusted up on the side of the road, he wanted to like refurbish them and like sell those to collectors. And he had done one or two of them. They were pretty badass. Unfortunately, what would have been probably a couple years before he was going to retire, he ended up having a massive stroke, passing away, and God rest his soul. We're cleaning out the garage, and what do I find? I find an old photo of his father, my grandfather, in some old museum somewhere, standing next to the biggest effing antique tractor I think I've ever seen. And I'm like, okay. It all kind of came together for me there. Like, he kind of got to do some of that while he was here, but now he's, if there's like a weird heaven where like those kind of dreams materialize, his dad are working on a giant tractor up there, up there
Yeah.
plowing the clouds in the sky, right? And I'm like, if I don't do the things that I'm really driven to do now,
Yeah.
I may not have till retirement. I could die literally at any point. So, not to say like YOLO, but
Yeah.
why
Yeah.
not?
Literally. Yeah.
To what Mike said earlier, like, why wouldn't you do something? Why wouldn't you do stuff?
Right.
So there's your fun advice for the night, not to bring things down to like a real downer of a
Now go read some comic books.
Yes, there you go.
Sometimes you gotta get knocked down real low to appreciate the highs you have in life, right? I think that's what they say.
Yeah. That's
So,
true, man. That's
go
true.
rob a bank or something, get thrown in prison for 10 years, paint some pictures, come out on it. Don't do any of that. But you guys got any things? You got Saratoga coming up this weekend, right?
Not this weekend. It is next weekend.
2 weekends.
Yes.
Weekend and a half.
Yes.
Very cool. Is that a 2-day, 3-day?
It is a 2-day show. It's in Saratoga, New York, and it'll be a lot of fun. I just knocked out an Alien piece for it, so that'll be cool.
Yeah.
Hope people buy that. It's my first Alien piece I've done. Super far left field from everything else I've done, considering
Very
most
nice.
of my wall is Marvel or DC stuff. So
Hey.
I'm shaking it up a little bit. We'll see what comes of it.
Aliens are hot.
Yeah.
Not like I'm not attracted. That's not what I'm saying.
I mean,
Speaking-
if you're into that
Yeah.
thing, I mean, it was based off of what's this Geiger's work, or
A lot of
it's
spit.
things were a lot of
Slime.
penises and stuff.
Yeah. Face huggers doing
Yeah,
that.
right.
It's a very
That's what you're into, man. I
Yeah.
can't judge you. I'm sorry.
That's been one of my hottest selling prints, I should say, that I've been doing lately. Has been
Oh, nice.
Aliens. So
Okay.
there's
Alright.
something in the air with that.
Yeah, I mean that
Well,
movie
it-
did just come out, I think, right?
Well, what's the date today?
4/23.
All right. Well, LB 426 is on the way, so that's Alien Day. So
Oh, okay. I didn't know
Oh,
that.
make sure
even
to
better.
share. April 26th.
Okay.
I'm
So
cutting
there
out
you
a
go.
little bit there, Michael. I don't know if
Yeah.
yeah,
About that, yeah.
getting a little poppy. So that'll be not this
Oh,
weekend,
sorry.
but next.
Right there. I was eating pop rock. I think so. LB 426. Well, 23rd. So it's got to be this weekend, right?
4/26 would be Sunday. Saturday. It'd be Saturday.
Yeah. So yeah, you're floating around the orbit of that, I'd say. I think people will
Yeah,
be
sure.
riding that alien high.
That'll be sweet.
Mhm.
Post
Yeah.
it.
I
Post it
like
up.
it. What about you, Michael? You got anything that you're working on or want to plug?
Oh, not really. Just working on my bookcase right now. So
Nice.
sure.
Excellent.
No, I'm really just trying to clean stuff up because I'm kind of uncluttering my life a little bit. And with that, I've been kind of thinking once in a while, passing ideas to James and stuff. Just kind of thinking about it, doodling here and there. I'm going to be jumping back on the artwork. I'm going to be finishing up a xenomorph piece for one of the backers.
Nice.
That we had, and from there, I think like potentially some conventions, but they're relatively small. I think nowhere near where you guys are at, but yeah.
Still good to get out there, man. Very
Sure.
cool.
Yeah.
Friends in the chat, if you've got any shows coming up, feel free to post those where you're going to be or any projects that you're working on. And I will be, this is my last weekend off, and then it gets pretty heavy through the summer. I'll be not this weekend, but next, I will be in Rosemont near Chicago for the Nightmare Weekend. That's their inaugural show, so we'll see how that goes. We'll report back on that. Then I think it's every other weekend for a second with Motor City. I'll be up in Detroit area, Novi on the outskirts there.
Nice.
And then I'm on the road for 3 weeks straight.
Oh wow.
Going out to Oklahoma City, Dallas, and then Houston.
Whoa.
And that will be officially the longest I'll be on the road for one stretch of time.
Hey, if you're in the
So,
Houston area, you should hit up Danielle. I think that's about where she is.
okay. Yeah. See
And
what
make sure to wear your Golden State Warriors jersey, especially if they win.
they like that, huh?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. I will remember that that sage advice. So I do have a number of conventions coming up you guys can see me at, and then I've also got a quick update for any of you that backed Alice in Slaughterland. All of the stuff for the perks, the add-ons, has been ordered. I've got a few more things I have to do for updating for the actual book itself to be formatted correctly, and that's going off to the printer very soon. The only thing that's really going to throw a wrench in my delivery timeline is going to be if I'm on the road during those 3 weeks. If the books show up during that time, then not much I can do. So still looking for that within 2 months of the Kickstarter settling to have everything done that's settled. I got to work on some commissions, but other than that, it's all been ordered. Tariffs,
That's
by
awesome.
the way. Here's a weird one. Have you guys heard this? Have you seen this? They're saying a place an order for trading cards. Have you done that yet?
Not yet. No.
So fun
Still
one.
waiting on the Kickstarter funds.
Yeah, that's a big one. So company I'm using is based in China. The tariff is insane, but there's no tariff somehow if you use express shipping. They even say it in their thing when you're checking out.
That's
So
interesting.
there must have been some provision for shipping companies so they don't all get tanked during the whole tariff thing that, well, if you do express shipping, then there's no tariff.
Interesting.
So it was like
Good to know.
$15 cheaper, and I'm getting my stuff 2 weeks sooner. Now, granted, it's still more expensive than if I had not done express shipping, but
Yeah. With tariffs, it's
yeah.
Yeah. Yikes. Interesting.
Cool. Ben says, see you in Dallas. The missus will be in Motor City for me while I go to Philly. Well, good luck out there. Ben's going to be running 2 shows at once.
Oh,
and
wow.
I'm sure she will kill it. And I'll see you down in Dallas, buddy. Absolutely. Well, guys, thanks for hanging out. James, thanks for joining as always. Catch him at Sketching the Beast on all platforms. Michael, where can they find you at?
Here or there, Banff Anywhere, at Instagram, or the X, as the kids are calling it these days. I'm at Banff 27 Art.
There you go, Banff 27 Art. Guys, thanks for hanging out. Hit that like button on the way out. We'll see you next time. I'm doing a live sale tomorrow on Whatnot. See you.
Peace.